Hey YouTube, so today I am making some cream cheese, and it's a multi-purpose recipe because you can make what's known as farmer's cheese or you can make cream cheese. So today I'm making cream cheese, but I will tell you what one extra step is for it to be more like a farmer's cheese. For every 2 cups of milk, you can expect to come away with about half a cup of cream cheese or farmer's cheese. I've got about 3 cups here that I'm stirring in the pot. So I'm hoping to get away with at least 3/4 cup of cream cheese. But you can scale the recipe up or down depending on how much cream cheese or cheese that you're going to be needing. I'm just heating it up on the stove here on medium high, and I'm going to continue to stir it until I can see steam coming up from it. Okay, so the milk, you can tell it's thickened and steam is coming out of it. Pretty good. So I'm gonna go ahead and turn off my heat, and then the next step is to add a 1/4 cup of either lemon juice or vinegar. I'm gonna add lemon juice, 1/4 cup, and stir it in. See, this will almost immediately curdle, and I'm just gonna let it sit and curdle for another minute, and I'll come back. So while that is sitting for 1 minute, I'm going to get my strainer, cheesecloth, or in my case, an old sheet that I've sterilized and used for making cheese and straining things out. So I've got that. I've got my strainer underneath it and a bowl to catch the whey. And the whey is going to be useful. You can use the whey later on, so don't throw that out. I'm going to go ahead and pour this in now and strain out the curds from the whey. So you can see here it's getting a little bit thicker. Just you can either stir it or let it drain by itself for a little while, but it's faster if you just stir it, and then you can see the whey has been separated. So you can see the texture is still soft, but it's thickened up quite a bit, and we're left with that much whey. So when it gets to this texture, this is good for making cream cheese, the type of cream cheese that will be spreadable. But when you're making farmer's cheese, you want something with a tougher texture. So all you're going to do, the only difference is you leave it a little longer and you let it drain out. To make sure I have as little liquid as possible when making the farmer's cheese, I will just leave the cloth, the strainer, and put it in a bowl and then stick it in the fridge overnight or for 8 hours or so, and the texture of this cheese will be much more stiff and you'll be able to slice into it. But this is the time that if you want to make farmer's cheese savory, or if you wanted to make your cream cheese savory, this would be the time where you would add your salt, pepper, herbs, and spices. And if you want to make your cream cheese sweet, this will be the time where you're going to add sweetener. I'm going to take this off of the strainer here and put it in the mixer. Okay, so here it is. I've put it in my magic bullet here. Something smaller would be better because there's such a little amount to be blended. And this is going to get it to the cream cheese texture that we're used to from the grocery store. This is something I'm going to be using for baking. So I'm going to add a tablespoon of sweetener to my cream cheese, so it has a slight sweeter taste. I'm also going to add a 1/4 teaspoon of vanilla. So when making the cream cheese, the only thing is that it is a thicker texture. You want it to be thicker, but when you're blending it, you want it to be able to blend smoothly. If you need to, you can add a little bit of your whey back into it. So I wouldn't add more than a tablespoon at a time. That way you can just get it to the texture that's going to blend up smoothly in your mixer. So I'm going to just go ahead and see what it does without adding any extra whey right now. You can see it's up at the top here, so, oh, just fell down. So I'll just bang it down to make sure it stays low, and I'm going to blend it up. So it's a lot easier if you do this step while it's still warm, and you can see it kind of is pretty liquidy, even though I didn't add any whey to it. So I'm going to pour this out into a bowl and come back. Okay, so you can see it's still warm and it's quite liquid right now. So I'm going to go ahead and put this in the fridge and take it out in about an hour. If you want to fast forward, and if you're impatient like me, you could probably alternate between having it in the freezer and in the fridge for about half an hour, but we'll see. You would just normally let it cool down all the way and it will firm up in texture. So I've kept my whey in a mason jar here, and I will use it for my baking. Another good way to use it is for smoothies. The smoothies will taste much better if you use the lemon juice rather than vinegar. But if you use the vinegar, you can still use it for baking just fine. Okay, so I've taken the cream cheese out of the fridge. It's been in there for about an hour and a half, and this is the texture. You can see it's smooth and spreadable. If you put it in the freezer, the edges will start to freeze faster, so it's probably best to just let it refrigerate for about an hour or more, or 5 minutes in the freezer and then transfer it to the fridge. But here it is. So this is a nice creamy texture. So if you have any questions, feel free to ask them in the comment section. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. God bless you.